building a network of verified people and verified credentials, and helping people move into this digital space of portable information. That's going to be our legacy, right? That's what we want to leave behind, is create a trust, safe environment where everybody can have verified information that ultimately leads to their proof of their capabilities. So that's going to be our legacy, and we're going to do a fantastic job at it. I celebrated 25 years in Canada on February 1st. When I jumped into the tech world, it was because I realized that if you know how to build tech for a purpose, and that purpose is validated by your customer to say, this will change my life, then you have the opportunity to scale it and build something massive out of it. So, and a good source to go and look at is, so our Chief Technology Officer, Elena, is the vice chair of a group called CompTIA, COMPTIA, and they are the largest global organization for training of CIOs and VPs of engineering and technology and so on. And they have some really nice little basics that they've created over the years around, when do you apply blockchain, when do you not apply blockchain? What are the 7 myths of blockchain technology? It's really powerful to just kind of take them at a glance and just go, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, and then you can see it. And Elena is obviously is a chief technology officer of a blockchain tech company. She had a big contribution to that, into putting those together to say, hey, here's the lessons that we've learned that we're putting into 7 quick kind of at a glance guides for you. But most importantly for the entrepreneurs that are coming into this space, know that the technology doesn't always matter what the technology is in the back end. It matters as to how you're going to use it and if it's of value to your client. And lastly, I'd say in Canada is moving mountains in the world of blockchain technology. In the last few years, even the government of Canada and the exposure they've started presenting to this technology has been incredible. In the leadership positions, we're a majority female-led company, which is very exciting. We expect that by the end of this year, we should, hopefully, knock on wood, all goes as you expect. We end up with a much larger team. Hopefully, we'll double up in size in the team size, and our client base is going to grow. So our target is going to be about 100,000 users on the network by the end of this year. My advice is go in, wake up, be happy every day. You're going to have ups and downs every day. Keep your butterflies and follow these big groups like Lift Accelerator and Platform, and don't be afraid to ask for advice. People are always happy to spend time with you and just give you advice. Don't be afraid to ask. That's where ultimately mentorship comes in.
Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of the Startup Impact. I am Shivi, your host for the show. And today's episode is a really special one because we are going to talk about one of the burning sensational topic of cryptocurrency with our very own blockchain guru, founder and CEO of TerraHub, Dan Giurescu, who thrives on scaling and who thrives on believing that what he does, why he does, and also understanding the challenging the status quo. So today we are going to dig deeper into his mindset to understand what he does, what he does, and why he does, while he shares some amazing big announcements on the show. So stay tuned till the end. So for those of you who do not know Dan is the focused leader who supports numerous local charities and the growth of technology in Canada through A100, IBM District Ventures, Tech Canada, Blockchain Advisory, and as a board member of Athabasca University Business Leadership Advisory Council. Before founding TerraHub, Dan started multiple companies, scaled, sold, and started again, with the focus to remain on digitizing traditional business process while building inclusive and inspired team to create everyday impact. So please help me in welcoming Dan Giurescu, founder and CEO of TerraHub. Dan, thank you so much for joining us on the show. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic, Shivi. Thanks for having me. Look forward to chatting with you.
Amazing. We had a discussion last year, and I'm so glad that we are doing this show. So tell me more if I missed anything on the intro. So tell me more about about yourself. Like, when did you come to Calgary, and what were you doing even before you came to Calgary? What brought you to Calgary?
Sure. So what brought me to Calgary was ultimately the mountains and a change from living and breathing Toronto, which is a very fast-paced environment. And I celebrated 25 years in Canada on February 1st. So it's a nice little, marker on the time spent here in my life in Canada, which is exciting. I've done a bunch of other things in the past. I've started a few tech companies before. My first tech company was when I was in university in Toronto. We built me and my partner. We built a system that was recognizing QR codes for textbooks, and ultimately creating an online e-commerce business for the buying and selling of textbooks through Amazon's book services, but all digitized and workflowed from the moment we picked up the book to the moment it got to where it needed to. And Calgary was just an awesome destination. I grew up in Romania in a small town that was in the mountains. So for me, this was like a second home. So 2008, I decided to come out to Calgary and start my new career here. Build another tech company while I was in Calgary, focused in the movement of dangerous goods. So really got into the spirit of the energy industry and digitized that. And we got acquired in 2016, and 2017 I started TerraHub again. So I'm lucky that my co-founder Olena has followed me through and through in this journey, which has been exciting. And now we've built a new team. We've scaled the company, and now we're going to market and doing some amazing things. So super excited.
That there is an overlap between my and your liking. Like, we both love mountains, and that's something I brag about Calgary all the time. Like, oh my God, we have
Uh,
so no afraid of the cold breeze out there, but we love
yeah.
mountains. So yeah. Another thing I
Well,
want to know is, like, okay, so you stayed in Calgary is one aspect, but why you decided Calgary to be the city for your business, the city for your business that you wanna start in Calgary and wanna stick in Calgary. Was the reason behind it?
well, I'll say the first things first. Calgary has been an amazing town to me and my partner. We've done well here before. The industry has supported us. Um, we've created jobs and helped build the ecosystem here, both in the tech as well as in the entrepreneurship side. And we're super excited to be a part of all this. And you know what? Calgary is an exceptional, growing tech city. We've raised a lot of money in Calgary in the last few years. We've also had some big unicorn exits. So why not? I mean, cost of living is good. The environment is good. The people are nice. The atmosphere is good, except when it's minus 52 in the winter. But other than that, it's fantastic. And yeah, it's a thriving city. It's going to grow, and it's a really good place to be in and build and scale your business.
Yeah. So another question that comes in my mind is that when did you discover your passion, your love for technology? When did you really
Oh,
discover that? And with all the technology, why did you choose blockchain to be your final destination?
it's final destination for this company because I'm sure there's going to be another company in my future. But my passion for tech really came growing up. I was very much like your jock during the day, sports enthusiast. Grew up playing a lot of basketball, and then at night I was literally the geek. So I would sit around and write code, build HTML pages, and play a lot of video games. So tech was kind of something that grew on me. And when I went to university, I actually went in around business and computer science, which was very exciting because I got a chance to follow a bit of both passions. And then when I jumped into the tech world, it was because I realized that if you know how to build tech for a purpose, and that purpose is validated by your customer to say this will change my life, then you have the opportunity to scale it and build something massive out of it. So for me, tech is just a natural evolution of look at something that doesn't work, try to fix it with tech. And if it doesn't work with tech, it's because tech wasn't intended to be used for it. But
Right.
I love
So,
it.
why did you choose blockchain for TerraHub?
Well, the last tech company that we built focused in the supply chain space, focused on the movement of dangerous goods across Canada and the US, and the transportation and the logistics environment of it, and creating single source of truth documentation that everybody could access for their specific or individual needs, whether it's from auditing or reporting or so on. But I started really getting interested into the world of blockchain, specifically in the cryptocurrency space in 2012, when I started following a lot more of the Bitcoin. Um, First of all, the Satoshi white paper that discussed about the value of cryptocurrency, the power of it, and then started digging as a technology guy, started digging into the technology and what does it actually mean. And the one thing that really stuck with me from 2012 to 16, when I really got into the world of blockchain, was this concept of immutability and irrefutability of an asset. And that was just, my mind started just blowing up with ideas from where else you can apply it in the world and where it can go. So in 2017, after I concluded my post-acquisition transitional work, the world of blockchain really separated itself in the cryptocurrency space that was very much about Bitcoin. And I think by the end of 2017, there was 2,000 alternate coins that existed. So that was the craze of the ICOs, right? The
Yeah,
initial coin offerings.
Dogecoin, etc.
Um,
Yeah.
and then but then in 2017, what also happened is at the end of 16, beginning of 17, this concept of a permission blockchain, so private blockchain came out, and it offered you almost the same value proposition that the public blockchain, which is what crypto is, has. And then we looked at it and we said, well, can you imagine how powerful this would be when we put it into the business world? So we started really focusing on, okay, what are the ideas of where this technology could create an underlying value to a business when you can create this permissioned environment where you only have access to things that you're allowed to have access to. And it was just absolutely astonishing. I mean, the ideas were endless. We were running, God, I remembered in 2018, we ran just over 100 conferences and events across really North America and some in Europe and the UAE, where we were
That's
talking to
huge.
people. Oh, it was insane. Like I think I traveled probably 5 months out of the year. I was on the road,
And
outside of
happened and you
Canada.
got stuck.
Well, and it was incredible because we're sitting there talking to these people about and just explaining like, here's what a technology does, here's what it can do, here's where we believe it fits, and then you would leave it to an open forum for people to tell you what they think they can do with it, and the ideas were just endless. Everybody was looking back and they're like, oh my God, now that I get it, in my business problem or in my world, here's what I would change if I had this technology. And then you knew that there was something big there. When every time you'd go out and talk to a group of 20 people or 1,000 people, and then they would say, there's so many things I can do with it. So the technology needed to mature. It was very young. It was called bleeding edge technology in 2016 when it came to permission blockchain. But by 2019, I mean, Gartner had placed it in its magic quadrant as a technology that's now leading edge technology. So by 2020,
Leading edge.
yeah, so you went from bleeding edge to
Yeah.
leading edge technology, which means that, it's now been proven. There's use cases that are out there. People are using it functionally in their day-to-day businesses. So it was no longer kind of this mysterious little nebulous thing in the corner. And it was quite exceptional to then be able to say, okay, now I've listened to a lot of people, a lot of use cases. What's the one use case that I want to take and I want to build and develop and deploy and scale? And that's what it was for us. So 2019 was the start of our journey of now building our own architecture, picking our platform, and then starting to scale.
So I remember, Dan, when I had this conversation with you last year, you guys were scaling up, but then
Yeah.
something in the end of 2020 happened, and you guys just like quadrupled. So what
Yeah.
happened, and what's exciting with TerraHub?
Yeah, so in 2020, at the beginning of 2020, we kind of came onto the market and we said, okay, here's what we have. Let's go and do a small seed round, basically of capital for growth capital, and as we were going through that process of doing the financing round, we ended up hitting a really big client out of the park. And though I can't say their name publicly, they're a fintech organization. They play um, in the trading space, so they're very much like think of like a TSX or New York Stock Exchange kind of organization. And they decided that they wanted to use our technology um, for their organization, which was 30 countries, 60 offices, 5,000 employees,
That's
launched
huge.
on our product. And
Crazy.
it's like, well, it was huge because we had a few clients that were 150 employees, 50 employees, 20 employees, 200 employees, and all of a sudden it's like, here's 5,200 employees out of nowhere. So the scale of the technology now just had like it went from here's the things that we can do to here's the things we need to do overnight, and everything from the privacy components, right, from meeting European privacy laws, Canadian, California based, international laws, basically to say your software is good, you've got what you need, you're not going to compromise anybody's data.
Mhm.
It was quite powerful. So that really launched us. And then by the end of 2020, we now had over 7,000 people using our system. Um,
Incredible. Amazing.
yeah, 15 companies that joined us, and now we're just continuing to scale. And this year's been it's only literally we're closing out our first 2 months of the year, and it's been just absolutely incredible.
Amazing, Dan. That's a great, fantastic news. But I will rewind the conversation here where we were talking about blockchain because I want to use your expertise, you've been called as a blockchain guru, to understand a bit more detail about the future, especially of Canada. Like we are still seeing not many companies coming into this space, but still growing
Yeah.
out there. So, with your understanding and knowledge, especially for the people who want to begin in this field or the
Mhm.
aspiring entrepreneurs who want to start the blockchain, what is going to be your tips and tricks and advices or your mantra for them to vouch or to work for in terms of increasing into this blockchain technology field?
Well, that's a very good question, and what I would say is don't lead your conversation with your client about blockchain, because the ultimate goal is, does your solution fix a problem? How your solution is built and what it's built on, that ultimately means matters a lot less than does your solution actually fix a problem. So look for that first, validate that first, and if you see that you have the right solution, then you can start thinking about the key attributes of blockchain technology and why it's of value. So you have to think about, does it matter to my client that this information is verified, that this information is tamper proof, that this information is immutable, and indisputable? And if it does, then you can start thinking about, is blockchain really applicable to me? And a good source to go and look at is, so our chief technology officer, Elena, is the vice chair of a group called CompTIA, COMPTIA, and they are the largest global organization for training of CIOs and VPs of engineering and technology and so on. And they have some really nice little basics that they've created over the years around, when do you apply blockchain, when do you not apply blockchain? What are the 7 myths of blockchain technology? It's really powerful to just kind of take them at a glance and just go yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, and then you can see it. And Elena is obviously is a chief technology officer of a blockchain tech company. She had a big contribution into that, into putting those together to say, hey, here's the lessons that we've learned that we're putting into 7 quick kind of at a glance guides for you. But most importantly, for the entrepreneurs that are coming into this space, know that the technology um, doesn't always matter what the technology is in the back end. It matters as to how you're going to use it and if it's of value to your client. And lastly, I'd say in Canada is moving mountains in the world of blockchain technology. In the last few years, even the government of Canada and the exposure they've started presenting to this technology has been incredible. Um, the groups we were talking to in 2017 and 18 around blockchain that were government focused has probably 10 times in size across Canada. Um, I mean, British Columbia rolled out some permission blockchain technology components through the pandemic because it helped them with managing things like access to student loans and access to your personal identity in a digital format. So Canada is actually starting to lead the way quite quickly in the world of blockchain, and
And
not to
what
be
about
mistaken,
Calgary, Dan? What about Calgary? Where is Calgary?
Calgary's doing Calgary's doing a lot. Calgary's it what we don't do a lot in Calgary is we don't boast about the amount of stuff that we have going on behind the scenes. But Calgary has been a leading player in even in the cryptocurrency space. Some of the neat ways to go and mine cryptocurrency with excess energy from oil field operations was first trialed in Alberta. In Calgary specific, there's been guys that have been leading the fronts of blockchain technology since its early days, 2016 and 17, who also have global clients that they're working with. So there's a small community. It's tight, but when I say small, I'm saying there's probably 400, 500, 600 people that are really super heavy on it. But they are also very knowledgeable and incredibly well connected in that space. So Calgary is doing a lot in the blockchain space.
Dan, before we jump into TerraHub and want to know more
Yeah.
exciting information and news there's something else I want to pick your brain here because you have been a serial
Yeah.
entrepreneur, right? So, what has been your learning curve? Because with the entrepreneurs, what I've seen is okay, one day it's working, and then a dip, shit, not working, not working, and then it started working. So, what has been your learning curve? What is something that you want to tell to people out there to watch out or to practice with your learnings and insights?
Oh my God. Okay, I'll say this is something that uh, my co-founder Elena asked me a while ago, and she said, "Do you still feel like you have butterflies in your stomach every day when you wake up and you think about this?" And it's like, absolutely. And she's like, good, because if you wouldn't have butterflies, that means that you're no longer passionate about this.
Right.
So if you don't wake up every day and you feel like you're gonna either fail or succeed, which will happen to you on a daily basis, you will feel that probably like 10 times a day. Because you're gonna have a really great call and you're gonna have a really bad call. You have a really great call and you're gonna have a really bad call. So if you can't take that and you're not ready for that every day, and you're not ready to put in the sweat equity, then you're not passionate about the business and what it is that you're going to build. And you just have to get up and get it done every single day, build a thick skin, let it roll off your back, because tomorrow's another day, right? And you just got to get up and get it done.
Yeah. So, like, you are the blockchain guru, as we call, but who was your inspiration when you were starting your business or when you were starting in this space? Who were you looking up to start?
Oh my God. Honestly, my chief technology officer, because if Elena wasn't excited about this stuff and she wasn't ready to like make it a reality, I wouldn't have been where I am today. And I gotta say, if it's hard to create connections with those at the executive level, and you're either gonna bond or you're not gonna bond. And if you don't bond, just don't do it, right? Call a spade and walk away. But and there should be no hard feelings, because it could all start great and then it could end not so great for all and some great for others. But you got to be ready to make those hard decisions.
Right, I agree, absolutely. Okay, so coming back to TerraHub now, this is something I was longing to ask you.
Yeah.
What is TerraHub going to look like in 2021 with the amazing stuff that happened in 2020 and all scaling and the financing coming up, and you guys go crazy for the first 2 months? What is something that's going to look like the future of TerraHub in 2021 under your leadership?
Well, the one thing that's actually really amazing about TerraHub right now that I didn't really realize until we kind of looked at it as oh, that's interesting, as a fact. So in the leadership positions, we're a majority female-led company, which is very exciting. So from the CFO to the CTO to the Chief Growth and Operating Officer, which is incredible, and we're continuing to grow at a very fast pace. So we expect that by the end of this year, we should, hopefully, knock on wood, all goes as you expect. we end up with a much larger team. Hopefully, we'll double up in size in the team size, and our client base is going to grow. So our target is going to be about 100,000 users on the network by the end of this year, and we just got to go and get her done. That's the reality. And the first few months have proven that we can go and hit those numbers, and we should see those returns at the end of the year, which is very nice.
So with TerraHub, if I talk about the tagline which says that it's a bridge from uncertainty to proof, right?
Yeah.
So what's something exciting that we can see the changes coming up in TerraHub? Is there any exciting news that's coming up that you want to share here at this moment?
Yeah.
Because I'm very excited to know it.
Yeah, there's a few exciting things that we're going to do. So we're a few, let's say in the first quarter here, we're going to close out the quarter with launching with a major background reference check company using our technology, which is going to be incredible for the market, to be able to have these digital wallets with verified information for the individuals and the businesses to see and to own. We've just in these last 2 months, we've just joined the CIO Strategy Council. The newsletter is coming out next week, which is so you are first to hear it. The CIO Strategy Council, which is now looking at how does the Canadian government and businesses move towards this digital identity and the future of permission blockchain as being part of that environment. We just joined the DIAC, which is again another identity-based organization, which is leading the pack in the way that we're managing information in the banking sector, as well as in the I'd say outside of fintech, as well into the operations side of the businesses. And we're now looking to grow our product into the US, where we're seeing quite a bit of pickup, and actually in French Canada, which is really neat. So we just launched our French version of our technology, and it's exciting. So growing.
Right. What's the version called?
So the new technology is going to be the new name is going to come out actually in April of this year. So I don't want to spoil it before, because Leslie and marketing are not going to be happy with me if I tell the world the new name of the technology. But we are rebranding and renaming and doing all the fun things around that. And
I'm going to ask the name, but just to curb this curiosity here, is it going to be another company? Is it going to be under the umbrella of TerraHub? How is this new entity going to work?
Yeah, so it's going to be under the entity of TerraHub. TerraHub is always going to be the parent company. There's multiple products that exist within the TerraHub family suite, and this one that focuses on digital credentials and verified information. A lot of it has to do with the brainchild of Tyler Chisholm and Clear Motive, who are just absolutely outstanding in the work that they do. So shout out to Tyler and to Clear Motive. You guys are just absolute champions in your space. So we've had a really but we're really fortunate to be able to work with them, and Tyler's support for the community and the tech startup community has been just absolutely outrageous. I've never seen a guy more passionate, to be honest. So he's out there. So thank you, Tyler, for the hard work and the things you guys do. This is unreal.
So Dan, understanding that your information and your collaboration in the community with TerraHub, with blockchain, and you itself being the community leader out there, what do you think would get most benefited for TerraHub? Like, what are the industries that you think would get more benefited, who should use your services? When I looked at your product, the first thing that came in my mind was HR, but I know that that's not what it is limited to. So what are the different companies or just industries that would be getting benefited out of it?
Yeah, so we're working quite heavily right now in the space of construction and operations and kind of that blue collar trades environment. And it's been exceptional, to be quite honest, because um, from a health and safety perspective, and as one of our clients that's launching our platform right now said, it's the responsibility of all of us to get everybody home safe at night. And with your tool, we can strengthen that opportunity, and we can rely on it because we know that everybody that comes to site is certified, is verified, and it's in good standing, and they don't put their colleagues at risk. And that is something that's absolutely unreal. So for us, um, it's been an incredible journey with this construction company.
Right.
More to come on that, but they're really changing the game. So shout out to them for the work that they're doing. And outside of the construction space, we're doing a lot of work in the retail environment. Like I said, in the fintech space, how do I know that my broker dealer or my trader actually is certified to make that trade for me today and doesn't put me at risk? These are some big steps to and big shoes to fill when you talk about verity of information for everybody.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And
yeah,
in
it's
fact,
huge.
yeah, that um, I should know like what the employees are what they're saying is saying correct. Could you give us like one of the case studies that you recently came across where you think this technology or TerraHub, the product would actually benefit out of it? Just any kind of case
Yeah,
for us to understand the things in deeper.
yeah. So we're just about to launch with a trucking outfit as well. So they've got about 1,200 employees, or drivers, I should say, because they're about 1,350 employees with about 1,100 drivers. And what they realize is that because of the revolving door of the industry, where people come and go quite often, being able to hire with confidence faster, because you know that the individual that's coming in is certified, they're verified, they've got all the information up to date, um, their background checks, their all the driver's license information that's needed is all there, packaged in a simple app that plugs and plays with their HRIS system and their health and safety system. It means the world to them because they can now go out and make a decision about an individual.
Agree.
Um, you know, we've heard numbers as high as 75% faster than they would have, with a lot higher level of trust and accuracy, because they can now just deploy it, and they can just go out and say, hey, I know that this guy can trust because he's got X, Y, and Z background, and here's where he worked, here's his verified credentials. He can jump into that tractor trailer and hit the road and make his deliveries. And that's a big gain when you're talking about a revolving door, where an industry will gain or lose 50 to 60% of their staff, their drivers, on an every yearly basis. So that's something that's going to be big, and we're getting pretty deep into that space as well, and we're super excited about it.
So Dan, what came in my mind was like everything is looking so fantastic and amazing and great
Of course.
opportunities lying ahead. But is there anything that you think is challenging out there? Is there any roadblock that you think you might face or encounter which is stopping you or hindering you to reach your goal?
Nah, I mean, roadblocks are roadblocks. I mean, that's the life. That's the life of an entrepreneur. Ask me tomorrow what I had to bury yesterday. So that's what I was talking about earlier, right? When you get up and you just get it done, and whatever's ahead of you, you just figure it out. The reality is that the government of Canada and other groups are starting to make some heavy inroads into the education and the digital literacy into this world of trust and verified information, and ultimately into the meaning of credentials, right? Because credentials can mean your bachelor degree, it could mean your blue seal or red seal certification. It could also mean your username and password on your keyboard. But what does it mean to have a portable digital credential, and what's the value of it? And that's where this digital literacy component is gonna take away a lot of roadblocks for people, because they're just gonna get comfortable with it. And like, we just did a big webinar with our partners at CPHR Alberta.
Mhm.
So shout out to CPHR Alberta for supporting the HR community. I think they're 5,000 plus members, and we
That's a
had
huge number, Dan. That's a
that's a
huge.
huge number, and we actually had a physical percentage of those members show up in a webinar just to learn about the
Yeah,
privacy changes and where
that
things are
actually
going.
shows that how valuable this information is and where the industry is actually
Yeah,
going right now. Absolutely.
HR is so hungry for digital literacy, for understanding the challenges that are facing them ahead, the new policies and regulations and changes. Like HR is going to be playing a very big role over the next few years in this space, and we're super excited to be able to support them and to be behind them, even if it's not about using our system. It's about leveraging that knowledge and sharing that knowledge with them, because they will make their decisions at some point in time, based on their size of the organization, their needs, right?
Mhm.
So we might not be a fit for all, but for some we will, and for some we won't. But for those that we won't, at least they're walking in eyes wide open, with identified um, knowledge basis that they can go in and make good decisions. They're a smarter buyer.
And that's a good mindset, like, because there would be always somebody who will probably not like it, but there are going to be a bunch of people there
Yeah.
who be actually very supportive. So they are your customers, actually. So let me
Yeah.
ask a different question here. You have been supporting community from I don't know for how long, and
Yeah.
giving anything, everything in your capacity that you can. So, is there anything that you want to ask right now that's going to help you go closer to your vision from the community or from the people around it that's going to make Dan more successful?
Honestly, follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on Twitter. Put your likes on information that you enjoy seeing from us, and join our newsletter. Right? I mean, if you want to stay on top of the latest and greatest of what's happening in this world, and privacy and the management and the challenges that your industry might face, you'll be surprised how often we cover those in our newsletters. They're once a month, so they're not spamming you on a weekly basis. And Leslie Newell, who's our lead and head of marketing, she does a fantastic job of just diluting it down to one or two sentences and saying, here's why you should take some time to read this, because it's got this golden nugget in it.
Mhm.
And it's you know educate yourself, stay on top of it, and we're here to help and support with that journey. So that's our success is going to be people being educated about what they're about to face.
So, is this newsletter there on your website and we can just go and subscribe it?
Yeah, absolutely. Just go in, sign up. Would I mean ultimately by regulations and policies, I need your consent. So I don't. So I'm not a spam filter. But yes, that's all you got to do. Jump on TerraHub.org, sign up for the emails, and then if anybody's curious to learn more about this stuff, just go info@terrahub.org, and I'm happy to jump on a call and take 30 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is that the person needs, and let's just have an open conversation.
So, sorry, what did you say that where we could actually catch you and find you?
Yeah, so if you go to terrahub.org, info@terrahub.org, it will literally bounce to my mailbox, and I'm gonna respond back to you and say, hey, looks like you connected. What can I do for you? How can I support you? What are you looking to learn? So, yeah,
Okay, okay. Dan, another question that pops in my mind from
yeah,
the conversation that we had is that you are going to scale your company in 2021, which means that you're going to be do a lot of hiring and it's
that's right.
going to help a lot of job seekers out there. So if anybody is interested in joining your company, or who would be the right fit for you? Like if talking about the candidate, what would you be
Uh,
looking at the candidates in terms of any specific details of qualification or attitude? Like what's going to be Dan's take there?
for us, honestly, developers that are knowledgeable in some of the latest stacks, whether it's Microsoft or AWS, or even Google, because they can convert over into some of the work that we do across developers is really a big challenge, and that's something that we love to find the right people. We have an incredible team that's very talented, and it's very fast paced moving. So if you're looking for that kind of challenge and you want to join a company from the beginning with and be part of that, first growth and first segment of those, first 20 people in, coming in. We're happy to have you, and you just got to want to have some fun and work hard.
So Dan, following this conversation, because one important aspect of this talk show is entrepreneurship. So when it
Yeah.
comes to boosting those entrepreneurs, the aspiring people out there, because we have seen many job losses right now than ever before. So either people are pivoting
Yeah.
their career and getting into a different direction, or they are trying their own venture, which they feel their expertise about. So what
Yeah.
would be your three tips, like your Dan's three capsule tips out there for people who are the first time entrepreneurs or who are starting their business out there?
Well, there's a few things. So if you're looking to be the developer in the company, and you don't have any development experience, then go take some courses and at least get yourself a baseline of where you can kick off the company. There's some great resources from Nate, Bow Valley College, SAIT, EvolveView that are huge in this space, and ready to help you kind of grow at a very fast pace. Take a look at some of the accelerators that are coming out, right? So, I want to give a big shout out to a new accelerator that's just being announced. It's called Lift Accelerator, which is going to be for the prairies. It's sponsored by an amazing investment company called Tribune Capital, and they're there for that young entrepreneur that's ready to go in. Whether you're first time or seasoned and you just want to get through, jump into an accelerator. Talk to Platform Calgary, right, and go into their program and learn about what does it mean to set up a company. How do you do it? How do you validate your first customer? And they'll put you through a regimented process that's actually been built by a lot of us entrepreneurs in the city. We gave our inputs and ran the first few cohorts, so they're solid. They're solid work.
Mhm.
So yeah, my advice is go in, wake up, be happy every day. You're gonna have ups and downs every day. Keep your butterflies, and follow these big groups like Lift Accelerator and Platform, and don't be afraid to ask for advice. People are always happy to spend time with you and just give you advice. Don't be afraid to ask. That's where ultimately mentorship comes in as well. So yeah,
That's
it's
that's
go.
a good advice actually. That's an amazing advice and a great information out there. And then when you were talking about the entrepreneurial journey of ups and downs, um, I I mean I'm just curious to know that how do you keep yourself up every day? Because every day you're smiling, energetic, like even if that's a day which is not meant to be there, with the challenges or the failures, but you're still smiling, you're being the go-getter. What is your mantra behind it to pull yourself? What is the mindset that you have at that moment?
It's the team. Honestly, it's your team. If you don't have a team that can pick you up and lift you up and brush you off and get you back out there, you're gonna have a hard time. So whoever your co-founder is, and then whoever the team is that you build with you, you better both be high spirited and be like, it's okay, you got it. What do we learn? What do we take away for the next one? And start again. And somebody said to me a little while ago, um, they said the harder you work, the luckier you get, which is always fun. And if you know somebody that tells really good jokes, have them on speed dial, because sometimes it just takes that. It's like you calling your buddy and saying, just tell me a joke, tell me a stupid joke, make me laugh, and then it just gets you out of the mindset. So have fun with it.
That's a great mindset, Dan. That's a great mindset to actually enjoy what your passion is, and every day be prepared to just dig deeper into it. So
Yeah.
Dan, one important perspective that our show is based upon, like the leaders like you who want to really carve something meaningful and want to create something more powerful here, is what is the impact? What is the impact that Dan wants to create? What's the impact that Dan want to create, or legacy Dan want to create and leave behind him? What is that you want to do, Dan?
Well, I mean, if you ask me around where we are in TerraHub and the work that we do, building a network of verified people and verify credentials, and helping people move into this digital space of portable information. That's going to be our legacy, right? That's what we want to leave behind, is create a trust safe environment where everybody can have verified information that ultimately leads to their proof of their capabilities. So that's going to be our legacy, and we're going to do a fantastic job at it.
Absolutely. And what about you, Dan? Like, what is something that personally you believe and you challenge upon, and you wanna see that the community really needs that? What is something that you wanna do it?
Well, with the more success that we have, the more success we can bring to the community, right? And whether that's going to be through jobs and taxes and support, it's one thing. But for me, it's about, if I can inspire others to go out and do something phenomenal and build their own successes and their own wealth, absolutely, 100% behind it. And if all it takes is a few hours a month to talk to somebody and to get them high spirited and get there, I'm all for it. So if I can touch somebody's life like that, and I know I have a few that have come back to me years later and be like, hey, I'm so glad I listened to you for this, and this, and now they're doing fantastic. Like recently, somebody came back up to me and said, remember last time we talked and we did this, and you helped me find this person that can help in my ecosystem and so on. They're now doing 2 years later, they're running 4.5, almost 5 million annual recurring revenue um, after being 5 years in business, right? And they're employed. I think they have like 45, 50 employees. They're scaling, they're growing, and I'm
Huge.
proud to be behind those kind of success stories. And I don't need people to know, right? I need to know that I impacted that person,
And
right?
I'm
And then that person trickled down and made something else.
really, really like community needs more done like you. And I would say that what you're doing is so powerful because you're doing out of passion. You're doing it out of what you
Yeah.
really and truly believes into it. And sometimes I feel very lucky, like to have ran into you, and we are doing this show so that we can spread wisdom as much as possible out there for the people who are on purpose out there. So Dan, thank you
Oh,
so much for sharing those
Shivi,
insights.
this is awesome, and you're doing a fantastic job for the community to bring these things forward, because it takes this to get the voice across,
Oh, thank you so
right?
much.
So thank you for your passion in doing this.
Dan, before I close the show, is there anything that you want to talk about, you want to share that I missed? Because honestly, like I had a bunch of questions I thought in my mind. I barely asked 2 to 3 questions. It was so fun and energetic. Like I was like just oozing out here. So is there anything you want to share, you want to talk about that I missed asking, or anything that's
uh,
there that you want to touch base?
Honestly, I wanna thank my team. I want to thank my board, and I want to thank the community for supporting us and helping us move forward and growing. And I look forward to continuing giving this back to others. So thanks, Shivi, for even having us and supporting us on the show. And follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on Twitter, and just stay on top of the game.
Where are you on Twitter, on LinkedIn, Dan?
TerraHub.ca or I guess TerraHub Technologies on LinkedIn, and um, I think it's just TerraHub.work on Twitter.
Okay, absolutely. Wow,
Yeah,
Dan, it was such a powerful conversation with you. I didn't even realize that we are over time at present. I
that's okay. This is awesome. I
have
love it. I
this
enjoyed it.
conversation throughout, and you have been an incredible leader, a great speaker, a great motivator and mentor, and I just loved having you here, Dan. So thank you
Thanks, Shivi.
so much for
Appreciate it.